Before the sun rises above the horizon, the African savanna awakens. The dry golden grass sways gently, a reminder that the struggle for survival never ceases, not even in the quietest moments. Heat, the invincible warrior of the African savanna. In this seemingly motionless grassland, a rugged figure moves silently, head bowed low, snout close to the ground, ears turning in all directions. A lone warthog searches for the remaining roots and dry tubers in the cracked soil. It is neither as beautiful as an antelope, nor as majestic as an African elephant. But in this unforgiving wilderness, beauty does not guarantee survival. Only instinct and tenacity carry life from one day to the next. Warthogs do not need much. A few roots and a little soft flesh are enough for a morning. But food is not always available, and it is not the only creature searching for it. In a low thorn bush, a few hundred meters away, a lioness lies in the shade. Her body is gaunt with hunger, and her cubs wait in the den. Today, she cannot return empty-handed. The cubs are hungry, and the survival of the entire pride depends on a single prey. She has been watching the warthog since early morning, alone, preoccupied with eating. No herd, no young ones following, no traps or other predators nearby. This is the ideal target. In the distance, on a bare mound, a herd of mongooses basks in the early sun. They are the smallest but most vigilant inhabitants of the savanna. When one of the pack raises its head and makes a sound, the whole pack immediately stops and turns its eyes in the same direction. The direction of the movement is clear. A lion hunt is about to begin. She starts to move, lowering her body and stepping lightly through the tall grass, almost invisible. The warthog keeps digging at a patch of dry earth, still unaware. Then, in an instant, the wind shifts. It freezes, ears pricked, eyes darting. The smell of old blood and animal fur fills its nostrils, and its front legs tense. Heat. Her heavy footsteps press the dry grass with each careful step. The pack of mongooses still stands on the mound, their black eyes watching, not cheering, not mocking, just witnessing, as the savanna has done for thousands of years. In the distance, where the sun glistens on the horizon, lies a small rock hollow hidden in the bushes. The lioness's den. Faint cries drift out. The cubs are hungry, their small eyes searching for their mother to return. But this morning she will bring nothing. She disappears into the shadows, empty-handed, carrying only the scent of defeat and dust. The savanna falls silent again, as though no chase ever happened. The warthog stands still for a moment, then bends down to the grass and resumes chewing a piece of dry root. No one applauds. There were no horns or drums, only the silence of creatures that had existed long before the sound of applause. And in this world, survival was victory enough. After a tense chase in the morning, after the hungry lioness's failed pounce, after the fierce blows that forced the hunter to retreat, the warthog still stood tall in the savanna. There was no celebration. It did not rush to flee. It simply stood still for a few seconds, then bowed its head and continued chewing on the dry root. In this world, calm after a storm is a survival skill, and it has mastered it. What has helped warthogs endure millions of years of harsh evolution is their ability to adapt, etched into every detail of their bodies. Its long curved tusks, sometimes reaching up to 25 centimeters, are not only defensive weapons, but also effective digging tools. The hard rock-like bumps protruding from both sides of its cheeks help it withstand collisions when facing rivals or enemies, like a biological armor that never falls off. Its skin is thick, rough, and almost hairless, a perfect design for dissipating heat under the African sun without the need for shade. Everything that appears crude about the warthog's body is in fact the result of millions of years of natural selection. It does not live ostentatiously. It does not fight over territory or waste energy on unnecessary activities. Warthogs reuse the burrows of other animals, often porcupines or aardwolves, then expand and reinforce them, turning them into well-hidden fortresses. Most notably, it always crawls into its burrow tail first, with its head facing outward. This is not because it is peculiar, but because it is intelligent. If an enemy approaches the entrance, the first thing it will meet is the pig's curved, sharp tusks, not its soft, vulnerable back. The warthog's diet consists of old grass, dry tree roots, rotten tubers, and even the dried dung of antelopes or wild buffalo. Anything edible is acceptable. They are omnivorous but never wasteful. knowing their limits and selecting food carefully, which is a form of natural wisdom. As a result, when the dry season reaches its peak, when herds of antelopes migrate hundreds of kilometers away, and when the last river becomes nothing but a foul swamp, the warty pigs remain, gnawing on tree roots, drinking dew, and waiting for the first rains to return. In a world where power is often measured by claws and speed, some creatures choose a different path, living long, quietly unnoticed, yet not easily erased. The warty pig is one of them, not exceptionally intelligent, not blessed with blazing speed, not protected by a large herd, but with instinct, stubbornness, and a few well-timed jabs, it survives day after day, dry season after dry season. When the sun reaches its zenith, the savanna changes its face tense, harsh and heavy. Few creatures remain active under this burning sky. The heat descends like an invisible layer of fire draped over the land. The grass withers and bows. The air stands still. The warthog knows that to continue foraging through the midday blaze, it must cool its body, and it knows exactly where to go. It turns onto a familiar path toward a shallow depression in the ground, where a puddle of mud lingers from rare early rains. Without hesitation, it steps down, half its body sinking into the soft earth. Then it slowly lies down, rolls over, scratches the mud with its snout and back, rubbing it into its joints, its cheek pouches, and even its thin tail. Layers of mud cling to its body like a thin coat, shielding, cooling, and soothing its skin from the heat of the sun. But the mud cannot cover everything. Tiny parasites still cling to its ears, armpits, and the folds under its belly. They suck blood, spread disease, and drain its strength. Then the familiar care service arrives. Not far away, a herd of mongooses basks in the sun. Small, agile, and living in packs, they are essential inhabitants of the savanna, with slender bodies, short legs, upright tails, and sharp, intelligent eyes. They are perfectly designed for life beneath the low grass. Quick, agile, and above all alert, each individual plays a role in the pack hunters, guards, and guides. Unlike many small carnivores that live alone, mongooses thrive in a complex and stable social structure. They do everything together, from searching for food and caring for their young, to resting and evading predators. Their diet is diverse, ranging from insects, larvae, and scorpions to small snakes, bird eggs, wild fruits, and carrion. Yet what makes them particularly remarkable is their habit of grooming larger animals. Often, mongooses have been seen climbing onto the backs of wild buffalo, antelopes, even rhinoceroses and warthogs, plucking fat ticks, fleas, and other parasites buried in thick skin. It is a simple but effective symbiotic exchange. The small ones gain a protein-rich meal, while the large ones get cleaned without expending any effort. No one gaining an advantage and no one losing out. Just like today, as the warthogs lie in the mud to cool off after an eventful morning, a few mongooses separate from the herd and approach as though they have known each other forever. Without hesitation or fear, they climb onto the pig's back with ease, beginning their work like skilled caretakers. Each tiny claw carefully scrapes away the drying mud, and each sharp tooth plucks fat ticks and larvae hidden deep beneath the wrinkled skin. The warthogs remain still, eyes half closed, their bodies caked in mud under the scorching heat. Being cleaned by those tiny claws is perhaps the only moment they truly relax. The dry season slowly yields to the first rains. The savanna sky splits open with flashes of lightning, then pours water onto the parched grasslands. Within days, the cracked earth turns black and moist, and grass begins to sprout green as though fulfilling a promise. For the warthogs, this is the signal that breeding season has begun. The warthog that once survived an encounter with a lioness is no longer alone. It mated in the first weeks of the rainy season. Now, in a deep burrow beneath a familiar mound, a litter of tiny piglets grows day by day. Barely a few weeks old, they have small bodies, smooth brown fur, short legs, and tails curled high like little antennas. Each morning as the sun rises, the mother leads them from the den, teaching them to dig the earth, nibble on tree roots, and recognize the warning calls of the nearby mongoose pack. The green season savanna is full of life, yet it is also when bloodthirsty predators become more dangerous than ever. And then fate brings back a familiar face, the lioness from years ago. She is no longer hunting alone. Now her sisters are with her, agile and full of strength. The hunger in their eyes is unchanged, But this time their target is the tiny creatures, trailing behind the mother pig. One afternoon, as the piglets play in the soft grass, leaping, rolling, and biting each other's tails with high-pitched squeals, the mother looks up, her ears twitch, the wind shifts, the scent of blood and flesh drifts from afar. In an instant, she understands. The piglets dash toward the burrow entrance, just as they have been trained each day. The mother circles to the rear, blocking the path, roaring and flinging dirt into the air with her tusks as the lions appear and charge forward. The cave entrance becomes the front line. The lions do not rush inside. Instead, they begin to dig. Their claws scrape the dry earth, throwing dust into the air as layers of soil are torn apart. The mother does not wait to be surrounded. She pivots and kicks repeatedly toward the entrance with her hind legs, blasting dirt directly at the attackers. Beneath the savanna, she has prepared an escape route, a small side tunnel carved diagonally, concealed among bushes and cracks. In the ground, herding her piglets through the darkness, she drives them toward the exit. They erupt from the earth through the hidden passage and tumble onto the grassy plain. But something is wrong. Their sudden burst from the ground makes such a commotion that the lions instantly notice. From behind the mound, golden shadows launch forward like bullets. Heat, heat. When the lions finally retreated, carrying with them their hunger and the sting of defeat, the savanna sank back into its fragile calm. A soft evening breeze drifted across the yellowing grass, over ground still scarred by claw marks and frantic footprints. The mother, warthog, and her litter made their way slowly back to the burrow. As dusk deepened, the entire family vanished. Underground, leaving only a single blade of grass swaying gently at the entrance. Across the savanna, the last light dissolved, casting the grassland into a deep bronze glow. And in that darkness, another day of survival quietly came to an end.